Hello Soundies. Welcome to part 2 of designing the door. So we're going to be doing Foley stuff today, but before we do, I'd quite like to play you back the Atmos because I've since worked out that the only sound that we were hearing was coming through this microphone, and that my recording app doesn't actually capture the sound that comes from Logic Pro X unless I set it up to do so, and I can't set it up to do so and have this mic still work, so I can't talk to you. Okay, so I'm now set it up to record it separately, and I'll put it all together in the edit suite, fingers crossed. So let's have a little bit of a listen to how it all went yesterday, which is when I did this part 1. So let's just press play and have a little bit of a look. Okay. And I think that's as far as we got. So press stop. Okay. So there we go. That's track laid and not mixed or anything. We're going to be doing the mixing session. This will be the final tutorial. And in fact, I've changed my mind. We're going to go have a 4-part tutorial process. Lecture demonstration process. So part 4 we'll be mixing. So part 1 was atmospherics. Part 2, this particular one, when I get round to it, is going to be Foley. Part 3 will be special effects. I want to create a sound motif for the ghost, and I don't know whether it's going to be diegetic or non-diegetic. I suspect non-diegetic. And then finally how we mix it, and I will then show you how to mix using keyframes and mix on the fly, something that I prefer to do, but I'll show you both techniques. Anyway, the first thing we want to do today is to actually do some Foley. So what I want to do is I want to do the keys. If you notice, she's always, the ghost has always got keys. Can we see? Let's have a play this a little bit here. Yeah, I don't think we saw the keys. Anyway, trust me, they're all the way there. So I'm going to take these keys using this microphone here. There we are. See the signal coming out of the Foley? And in fact, I'm going to rename that Foley keys, because this will run all the way through Jingle or Jangle. There we go. That scraping here is Bryn, my dog, going into his pit. He's going to start agitating for a walk very soon. So if you hear this whiny tone, that'll be Bryn asking for his afternoon walk, which he thinks he should have about 3/4 of an hour after his morning walk. Anyway, okay, I digress again. So I'm going to start recording. I've set the level. Now I could do it on these here. And should you choose to get a USB microphone, you could easily do all of this stuff, as I said before, using a USB mic. But I'm using this particular microphone for the narrative, for the voiceover. So I'm going to need to use this microphone here, which is plugged into my sound card, to record all of the Foley sounds. Also, my cable really isn't long enough on my USB microphone to actually have it down where I'm going to be doing the footsteps. Okay, so I will be doing a little session, just a little class actually, on good configurations, because some of you, or all of you, may be doing a lot of this stuff at home with your own Mac and your own microphone or sound card and microphone. So I shall show you various configurations on how you can set up at home, and the various price ranges. That'll be a little extra, because I'm still not sure whether we're going to be doing blended classes or online classes. So I'm going on the understanding that nobody knows. So if we're entirely online, we should be okay. Anyway, so I'm going to press the record button, and I'm just going to basically try and do Jangle sounds whenever she's present. Chances are I'm going to be reactive because I'm not entirely sure when she turns up. But thankfully, thanks to the non-linear editing capabilities of digital technology such as Logic Pro X, we can just move that stuff about. Okay, I'm whittering on. Let's get started. Okay. These keys are actually quite a lot smaller. What I really needed is a set of really big keys, and I couldn't find any of those. But I'm going to try a little pitch shift effect, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. In fact, I'm going to mute that. And I'm going to duplicate this track. And the next thing I want to do is key score, which is when the ghost scores the gravestone. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, that's lucky. So there it is. So we need something like that. Look how big those keys are. So we're going to need to lower the pitch of the keys that I used, maybe even slow them down through the use of a sampler and vary speed. But for now, let's see if I can find a decent sound. I've got this floor tile. I worry that it's going to be a little bit high toned. Oh, that might be all right. So here we go. I've now set up to record on this track. Take the mute out. Here we go. Okay, let's see what that sounds. I'm going to have to switch on. I'm going to switch on my amplifier so I can hear this over the speakers. Let's just sync it up a bit anyway. So there's the playback head. I'll start it just before. It sounds a bit inside. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do that again. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this. So highlight, delete. As you can see, it's gone. Okay, so let's go back again. There we are. So what can I do? There's this natural room atmos, you know, the natural sound of an interior. So what am I going to do about that is the question. Okay, so I'm just going to switch this mic off for a second because I'm getting a bit of feedback. So bear with me. What I need is a towel. Oh God. This is going to be such a disaster if this doesn't work. Get used to it, mind. Sound is all about this kind of stuff. So I'm going to get my floor tile again. I'm going to get, what did I score it with? Did I have that big? Can I use this? Oh, it's too light. I need the heavier horseshoe. Where did I put that? Here we are. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover, there we go, the microphone and the floor tile to try and stop, just to record just direct sound. I'll switch this back on again. Here we go. So the towel is going to stop the sounds bouncing around the room. So let's listen. Okay, listen to that. It's not in synchronization. but I can just move it into sync. Let's have a bit of a listen to that though. That's better. It doesn't sound so internal. So let's just take that at the beginning. Where's that scoring happening? There it is. Just start a little bit before. Try that. It's not perfect. Let's bring this back a bit. Okay, so it's not exactly perfect, but I shall try various techniques. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my, here we go, I'm going to switch my EQ. So I'm going to have a bass the boost. So I'm going to EQ tools and add, make darker. What's that sound like? Oh, there we go. Let's have a listen to that. Better. Let's make it even more darker. Yeah, again, there it doesn't really have it. What I might have to do is I might have to go with my location recorder and go to a gravestone in Englefield Green or St Jude's graveyard, and actually record a key being dragged across a gravestone. But for now, and I wanted to be, it's a close-up shot. Look how close that shot is. Let's just boost the bass a bit there. Look how close that is. So it needs to be loud, and it also needs to be abrasive. And I could add extra sounds onto that, or I could, let's tell you what, let's just go to pitch shifter mono, and let's have a mix of about 70%. And I'm going to take the overall pitch of that down. Well, that's not bad. Okay, and then maybe I'm dragging the compressor down a window. Can you see? Because the compressor is going to be the last thing in this. So I'm going to go and I'm going to select, let's find some filters, auto filter, modulation. Let's have a ring shifter. What's that going to sound like? Warped. Phase, ring groove. I have no idea, no clue. Oh. Yeah, it's just not the right sound. Smooth ring, and let's try that. Oh, okay, I'm going to stick with that for the time being, with the proviso that I might change all of that. So let's put that back in. Okay, so I've got my key jangle. And I'm going to use this. In fact, I may as well do that at the same time. Let's have a little play through. And I'm going to move the compressor down a window. Like I said, oh, come on. There we go. And I'm going to have my pitch shifter mono 100% down, or let's say 3 semitones. Now, that could work. In fact, it might well work, but the keys might be a little bit quick as well. Not just in terms of pitch, but in terms of, bigger keys rattle slower than little keys. So it could be a process by which I use the sampler. Sorry, I'm not being very articulate. This is a lecture demonstration after all. Use the sampler to do something that we in the analog days used to call vary speed, which was to actually record something at a certain IPS or inches per minute on a tape recorder. That's why I'm doing this circular thing. That's the tape recorder going around, and then slow it down. So it slowed things and it lowered and slowed. Whereas pitch shift will just lower without slowing. But let's have a little peek. That's not bad, actually. Okay, we'll go with that. Okay, so because there's probably going to be special effects on this key score, I'm actually going to leave that track as it is. And I'm going to duplicate this track because I don't want that EQ to be recreated. So this track, and I'm going to call it bushes. So the next thing I want to do is when he goes through the bushes, there we are, right here. So we'll start off, give me a bit of a run in. And sometimes the best thing to use is some actual bushes. You'll notice I've got a bit of tape here. It's an analog tape, and I'm going to use this to simulate the grass sound when I let's turn the amp off. Or let's actually just mute these sounds. So we're just hearing the bush. So yeah, so tape is excellent for walking on. Well, tape can do a million different sound effects. Ask anybody who does radio sound effects. Ask Martha Littlehales at the BBC radio drama department. Okay, anyway, here we go. Oh no. Stop left clicking. Okay. Okay, let's hear what that sounds like. Not bad. Let's hear it with the rest of the Atmos. Okay, you must understand that I'm pretty much doing one take versions of all of this stuff. Otherwise this lecture demonstration would last even longer. But normally I would do a good 4 or 5 attempts at all of these different things. Or I would be looking for exactly the right sounds and stuff like that. So this is a little bit, on the fly, cut and thrust. But you get the idea because I'm showing you technique as much as anything else. Okay, so I've got the bush, I've got the keys, I've got the jangle. What I want to do next are the footsteps. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to pause for a minute, and I'm going to set up to do that, and then we'll start with recording footsteps as live Foley. You won't notice the difference because I'll edit all this together. Okay, stop recording. Okay, hi gang. So back for part 2, we're going to do the footsteps. First of all, I'm going to mute, oops, wrong button. I'm going to mute everything I've done so far so that doesn't get recorded by mistake. I'm going to create another Foley, which I'm going to call Footsteps 1. I do like everything to be neat. Footsteps 1. I have this theory, the prettier the timeline looks, the better the sound design. It's probably symptomatic rather than causal, but nevertheless. Okay. In fact, Foley Footsteps. So I'm not entirely sure how much you can see, but what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using this. This is magnetic tape. So this is old rubbish magnetic tape that can no longer be used, and I'm just getting a load out, and I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to walk on that, and that'll be my grass. I've kept a few of the leaves from the bushes, the bush that we did for the bush effect just now, and I'm going to be, that should do it. Let's just put it on the floor a little bit. I've already positioned my microphone. I don't know if, shall I tilt it down? I don't know if you can see that. And so I'm just going to just switch it on, and let's just see what kind of signal I'm getting. Now he does get up, doesn't he? Should I do this? No, it's too much like hard work. Also, he's young and I'm old, so I make more guffawing noises than he would. Okay, so I'm just going to play it by ear. I'm not going to get it all locked in tight, so there's going to be a little bit of what we call zhuzhing to get it locked in, but it's still easier than trying to find a library sound effect of somebody walking on grass with sneakers and just layering all that down. Okay, here we go. Okay, and now he's inside. That was interesting. I might have had the microphone too close up. But let's have a little listen. So here we go, let's turn that off. Switch all of this stuff on. And let's have a little watch and see whether it all works. Not bad. It was recorded quite quietly, actually. So I could, I suppose. I haven't shown you to do this yet, but if you double click on this window or double click on the actual clip itself, it opens up the edit window here, and I can go to functions and I can normalize. Try that. Let's normalize target level. Let's apply that. There we go. It's much louder. Probably terribly. Okay, I quite like that because what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take the level down. Much louder than it should be. So I'll keep that. I'll keep it. I would do it again and record it at the proper level, but again, I don't want to spend ages. I'm showing you the process more than anything else. Let's just have a little look at how it all works in the graveyard. Okay, I'm going to undo this. I'm going to normalize it again, functions, normalize region gain, and I'm going to normalize it to much lower. So I'm going to normalize it to minus 6 dB. There we are. Less. I think I can normalize it even less than that actually. Undo. So functions, normalize region gain is minus 12 dB. Ah, there we go. That's a bit more like it. Michel Schiele, the sound kind of academic critic, talks about the spatial magnetization of sound in the sense that sound seeks to fix itself to a moving object. It seems to be attracted to it as a magnet is attracted to iron. And he noticed that he was watching an Academy ratio film, a 4:3 film from the 1940s. And it was a wide shot of a man walking across from left to right, and you could hear the footsteps. However, the sound itself was contained in a speaker that was behind the screen that was just in the center, and yet the sound seemed to move from left to right. It never felt like the sound was out of sync or was out of phase because it was coming from a different source from where the footsteps were happening. The sound actually attached itself to the footprints, and we have the footsteps, I should say, and this is what's happening here a bit. This was quite a rough Foley, and yet our minds it seems to attach. Okay, I'm just going to do one more thing, and then so Foley footsteps 1. And then we're going to do some digital Foley, and again I shall set up for that. So Foley footsteps 2, bridge. And I'm just going to try walking on in my studio at home. I've got floorboards, so I'm thinking of just walking on the floorboards. You might not be able to see me do this. I might be out of shot, but there we go. That's what I'm going to try and do. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to solo it because it's too hard to mute all the other stuff. So I'm just going to solo that particular track. Off we go. It was also quite quiet. Coffee go. Not bad. Again, I would do it again, but I'm just going to do the gain thing. I don't know why it's recording at such a low level, but here we go. Oh, and this opening little bit is just me setting up. Go. Okay. There you have it. Okay, so we'll finish this one and I'm going to set up to show you how to do digital Foley chopping on your timeline.